What we're going to see here is how to tackle questions, especially with powers and roots, and then also a lot more brackets. And this is a lot of what we're going to see here. So I'm going to kind of do this lesson in two sections. First of all, I'm going to kind of show you powers and roots, and then I'm going to show you brackets also. And then we'll really be able to merge all these into complicated questions where in an exam or a test, and you're really always being able to pick up these marks. So first of all, it's probably just better to jump straight into examples here. So that's what I'm going to do, focusing on powers and roots first. Okay, so as you may know, this is the equation for the area of a circle. And in the question here, we want R to be this new subject of the formula. So just like any other one, we start with a general rule of thumb, the furthest away that's having an impact. So the furthest thing away is it's being multiplied by pi. So let's go ahead and divide by pi to get rid of that. So on the left hand side, this will give us A over pi is equal to R squared. Now, this is where it starts to get more complicated and we have to introduce new theories and techniques. Well, it's R squared, and in changes of subject, we obviously haven't seen or covered this yet. Now, just to kind of, hopefully to make you understand it better, let me just show you something here. So if we have 5 squared is equal to 25. We all know this is true. 5 times 5 is equal to 25. Well, what if we wanted to kind of simplify this to just get 5 equals 5? Well, what we can do is, just like with any other equation, apply a square root to both sides. Whatever you do to one, you have to do to the other. So applying a square root to both sides will give us the square root of 5 squared is equal to the square root of 25. Now, if we think about this, 5 squared is 25, and then the square root of 25 is 5. So these two just cancel, the square root and the squared. So this just gives us 5, because 5 squared is 25, the square root of 25 is 5. And obviously on the right hand side here, the square root of 25 is also 5. Therefore, now, this is why when we have a squared term like this, we take the square root of both sides, because it will get rid of the squared on this term and it'll square root the other side. So that is why we apply a square root when it is squared. So doing that, we'll get taking the square root of both sides, it cancels, so it's just R here, and then it's A over pi all in the square root. Kind of a bad square root, but so we get R is equal to A over pi all in the square root. And that will be our final answer. R is now the subject of the formula. So that is the main thing you have to remember here. When it is squared, you take the square root of both sides, and squared and square root cancel each other out. So hopefully you're beginning to understand it. Let's move on to another example.